Hello, good morning, friends. How are you all? Hope you're all keeping fine and doing your studies very regularly and very faithfully. So, today we shall begin a new lesson, lesson number 4, Globalization, Economics, lesson number 4, Globalization. The last lesson we saw about money, how money is made use, how the people can take loan and so on in order to develop their economy, their financial condition and so on. Today let us see about globalization. Globalization means the whole world becoming one, or the whole world becoming nearer to us. That's called globalization. In olden times, we had no relation with other countries much. We were just limited within our own boundaries. But now the situation has changed. We have access to every other country. We are allowed to travel there, we are allowed to stay there, we are allowed to work there, we are allowed to learn what they are doing, and we are allowed to sell our things to there, we are allowed to buy things from there. So the whole world, we can say, has become like a single village because of the development of the mass communication and modern means of transport, and so the distance is nothing. We are able to know immediately what is happening, things in Europe and America and so on. Immediately we can get the knowledge in the news, in TV and so on. So that is all effects of globalization. So in this lesson, let us see in detail how this globalization has changed the world, or how some countries are benefiting from it, how some countries are affected by it, and so on. Let's see all in detail. Let's take page number 55. So, as consumers in today's world, some of us have a wide choice of goods and services before us. The latest models of digital cameras, model mobile phones, and televisions made by the leading manufacturers of the world are within our reach. Every season, new models of automobiles can be seen on Indian roads. Gone are the days when Ambassador and Fiat were the only cars of Indian roads. Today, Indians are buying cars produced by nearly all the top companies in the world. A similar explosion of brands can be seen for many other goods, from shirts to television to process of fruit juice. So, we can see the difference. If you ask your parents, they will tell you what were the things available during their time when they were young like you. What were the things available? The mobile phones were not there. The cars, so many new cars were not there. New televisions were not there. They were all using old models of television, and TV, the dish TV was not there, dish antenna was not there. They were all using Doordarshan's, that stick antenna. So you will see, if you ask them, they will explain to you how the world has changed during the last 50 years or 60 years of time, and there is so much of development is there. That is all effects of globalization. The things that are made in other countries, mobile phones what we are using now, is all made in foreign countries, and it is available in our local market. The TVs that we use, it's all made in China, Japan and so on, and it's available here. So everything is available in our own local market. That is the sign of globalization. So such wide-ranging choice of goods in our markets is a relatively recent phenomenon. So it is a happening that is recently taking place. As I said, when your parents were young, they were not having all these facilities, but now you are lucky that you are able to benefit or able to make use of all these new modern and gadgets that are available. You wouldn't have found such a wide variety of goods in Indian markets even 2 decades back. So, no need to go back to 50 or 60 years. Even if you go back to some 20 years back, these things were not there in our market. And in the matters of years, our markets have been transformed. So just within the last 20 years or so, we can say the markets have been transformed. The things that were not available in the market 20 years ago, now it is simply available in plenty, and we have a variety of choices. We can choose what you want, the models, the capacity, the power. You can choose a different variety of things are available in the market. That's all because of globalization. Then, how do we understand these rapid transformations? What are the factors that are bringing about these changes? And how are these changes affecting the lives of the people? And we shall dwell on these questions in this chapter. So these are the things that we are going to study, or we are going to understand in this chapter. What are they? We are going to see what makes this rapid means quick reformations or transformations are taking place. What was not there 20 years ago, it has taken place now. What made that change possible within this 20 years of time? And what are the factors that are bringing about these changes? What caused this? What are the factors responsible for this change? And how are these changes affecting the lives of the people? How the lives of the people are affected? As I said in the beginning, some people are affected in the positive way and some are affected in the negative way. So how these things are, or these changes are affecting the lives of the people, that is what we are going to see. Let's see production across the countries, how the production is taking place across the countries. Until the middle of the 20th century, production was largely organized within the countries. What crossed the boundaries of these countries were raw materials, foodstuffs and finished products. So 20 years ago if you look, or even the half of the or middle of the 20th century, the production was largely organized within the country. So every production was done within the country. It was not produced outside the country, everything. When what crossed was, if I don't have raw materials, I'll go and buy from other country and produce in my country. Then after the production, I will sell it to outside if I want. But production was done within my country. Foodstuff and finished products, and all these were sold after the production. Then colonies such as India exported raw materials and foodstuffs and imported finished goods. So what India was doing, India had no much manufacturing units, not much factories and technologies. Therefore, India had lot of raw materials like cotton and other minerals and so on. We will export it to other countries and they will produce things in their country, then we will buy from them. That is how India was surviving in the middle of 20th century. Trade was the main channel connecting distant countries. So different countries were connected on the basis of trade, selling the raw materials to other countries and buying the finished goods from other countries. And this was before large companies called multinational corporations emerged on the scene. So those days, the middle of the 20th century, the big companies called multinational corporations, they were not there. Every country had their own corporations or their own factory, their own industry. They produce things there for their country. If there is extra, they used to sell it to others and so on. But now a new company called multinational corporation, in short form it is called MNCs. So they have emerged. So they have factory not only in their own country, they have even factory in other different countries. So that's why earlier the production was done only within the country. Now the production is done outside the country. For example, an American country which is a multinational corporation, they will start one factory in China, one factory in India, one factory in Pakistan, one factory in Canada. So the main company remains in America, but their branches are set up in different countries. and they will give them the technology how to produce things, or they will give them the parts and they will produce in different countries. So now the countries are producing things even outside their own countries. Before it was never heard. So it all happened after coming of this multinational corporations. And an MNC is a company that owns or controls production in more than one nation. You can underline what is MNC. An MNC is a company that owns or controls production in more than one nation. So they will have company or industry or factory in more than one countries, and they will be controlling what they should make, how much they should make, everything. From the headquarters they will control, but they have branches in many other countries. And MNCs set up offices and factories for the production in regions where they can get cheap labor and other resources. So where do they set up their branch factories? They look for country where raw materials are available, or they will look for where the local people are able to work for cheap labor. If the salary is very high in that region, then they will not start factory there, because they have to pay a very high salary to those people. Like people in India and so are ready to work for very low labor, cheap labor, and therefore very many countries are happy to start industry or company in India, because we can get cheap labor. So many people are there in India without any job, therefore they are ready to work for even cheap labor. So companies are happy to set up factory here to get cheap labor. So this is done so that the cost of production is low and MNCs can earn greater profits. And consider the following example. So when they don't spend much money for labor charge, then the product can be made easily with a cheap labor, and the total cost of production will be less, and the company can sell the things with a high price or normal price like other countries, and they will be getting more profit. That is how they manage. So a thing that is produced in America, it will be costly because their labor charge is very high, and the same thing is produced by that American company in India with a less price because the labor charge is less here, but they will be selling the thing for the same price. The thing that is sold in America, that same price the things will be sold here also, but the production charge is much less in India because of the less labor charge, but they will be selling it with a high price that is made in America. So those who are selling things in India, or those things that are produced in India, they will be getting more profit than they make by selling things in America. So that is why the multinational corporation, they are very much interested in setting up companies where the countries where the labor charge is very low, and India is one of such companies. Let's see one example. Spreading of production by an MNC. A large MNC producing industrial equipment designs its products in search of centers in the United States and then has the components manufactured in China. So a large MNC, we are not telling the name, producing industrial equipment, they are producing industrial tools, and designs its products in research centers in the United States. So this is a company in America, and they produce industrial tools, they do the research and they find out what are the things they are going to make, how they are going to make, and so on, and then has the components manufactured in China. So they will make small parts in China. That means they have set up a factory in China, they will compose the small parts there. Then these are then shipped to Mexico and Eastern Europe, where the products are assembled and the finished products are sold all over the world. So these small parts are made in China factory. Then after completing that, they will send it by ship to America or Mexico or to Europe, and then they will assemble all those parts together. They will put together all the small parts and complete the production. Then they will sell all over the world. So where the things actually it is made in China. but the company's name is America. So America, what they did is only just putting these things together, fixing together, then they will sell it all over the world. So why they make these small parts or spare parts in China? Because there the labor charge is cheap, therefore they set up in China, they set up the factory there and produce the things, the parts, but they do not know how to assemble there. Therefore, after completion of this producing of the parts, they will send it to America. There they will, the skilled people, the learned people are there, and they will do the assembling, setting together, and they sell it. Meanwhile, the company's customer care is carried out through all the centers located in India. So when they are selling the things throughout the world, what happens? The company's customer care is carried out through all centers located in India. So they have so many centers or factories or shops or outlets are there for selling their products, and customer cares are placed all over in these shops. So you see, production is done in one place, the finished goods of assembling is done in America, and it is sold in India. And the customer care, they will ring up to ask any doubts or anything, those who are buying their products, and the people from India will be responding or replying to them. So that is how the multinational companies are functioning. Though the products are in America, but things are made in China, sold in India, and so on. That is how multinational companies are functioning. Then in this example, the MNC is not only selling its finished products globally, but more important, the goods and the services are produced globally. So the goods or services are produced globally. So it is not produced in one place. We saw the spare parts or the small parts were made in China, then assembled together in Mexico or in Europe, and so on. So it goes to many places. The production is done in many places, and therefore selling also is done in many places. And as a result, the production is organized in increasingly complex ways, and the production process is divided into small parts and spread out across the globe. So different parts are made in different places, and they are all sent to another place, and there they put it together and make the finished goods. And in the above example, China provides the advantage of being a cheap manufacturing location. So to manufacture things in China, it is very easy or very cheap because the labor charge is less, the expense is less, and so many countries choose to set up their factory in China. Then Mexico and Eastern Europe are useful for their closeness to the markets in the US and Europe. So Mexico and Eastern Europe, we said after producing these things in China, they will send it to Mexico or they will send it to Europe. What is the reason? Because that is very close to markets in the US and Europe. They are very close. So things are sent by ship, and so near the seaport, it is easy to reach to the centers. So in America or in Mexico as well as in Europe, the seaports are very near to it, and that's why they are sending there. Otherwise they have to spend money again for transportation, carrying to far away distances. So they choose the location which is very near to the seaport. Then India has highly skilled engineers who can understand the technical aspects of production, and it also has educated English speaking youth who can provide customer care services. So we said to sell these American products, India has got so many customer care centers in India. Why? What is the reason? Because India has got so many technical experts are there. People who know the skill. People only who knows about it can explain. Simply cannot by heart from the textbook, and when somebody asks a question or doubts, we cannot just say. So we should understand first, then for that we should know how to speak proper language, because customer care, customers may be calling from different parts of the world. Those who brought this product, they may be from different countries. So they should know how to speak, how to communicate properly, maybe English is a common language which we can communicate. If you talk in our own language, customers maybe from other country, they will not understand. So English, they should know very well English. So people in India, they have got young people who can speak English nicely and who are skilled. They will be able to communicate properly and so on. And all this probably can mean 50-60% cost saving for MNC. So since the learned people are not there in India, if the learned people are not there in India to work in the customer care center, what they have to do? They have to bring people from America who can speak English nicely, who knows the thing very well to explain and so on. Then people in America, their salary is very high, labor charge is very high. So if they bring from America and keep them in India, then they have to pay very high salary and the company will be losing, the expense will be high. But here in India itself, people are available and their labor charge is less, and therefore company can get their service for a cheap labor. So that way the multinational companies are trying to pick up people from the locality who can do the work, who can serve them and help them as customer service providers. And so they will be saving so much of money. And the advantage of spreading out production across the borders to the multinational can be truly immense. So therefore they use all these different methods and they save a lot of money. Production cost is less and therefore they can earn a lot of profits. So that is just introduction how a multinational company works and how it makes a lot of profit and so on. Now let's see interlinking production across the countries. How this production is interlinked, how they are connected across the country. We already saw an example how some parts are made in China and how they are sent to Mexico or Europe, how they are assembled together, then they are distributed to different parts of the country, and where in India so many customer care centers are there for that company and the local people are working there. They are able to communicate properly to the customers and explain to their doubts and so on. So let's see how the interlinking production, how this is interlinked, how it is connected. Let us see. So interlinking. In general, MNCs set up production where it is close to the markets, where there is skilled and unskilled labor available at low cost, and where the availability of other factors of production is assured. So, in general, MNCs will set up their factory where the markets are very near. So, they will not go and set up in a very interior place in the rural area. They want the market to be nearby because they need to buy a lot of things, they need to transport a lot of things, and so market should be nearby. If it is very far away, then they have to bring all those things by truck and transportation charge will be very high again. So they will not do that. So and also market should be nearby. Then the skilled and the unskilled labor should be available at low cost. If that area has got very high labor charge, then the company will not start factory there because they have to call the workers from there and they have to pay them very high salary. They will observe nicely which are the area in that country having low wages, low cost or low salary. Then they will start there and call people from there to work. Then where the availability of other factors of production is assured, and other factors of production like land, water, all these things should be there. We can underline that. Which is a place, or how do the MNCs choose a place of production? Set up, where do they set up their production? What are the conditions needed to choose a place? First of all, it should be close to the market. Then there should be skilled labor and unskilled labor at a low cost. Then there should be also other factors of production nearby. So when all these facilities are there, they will choose that place in order to set up their company there. Then in addition, MNCs might look for government policies that look after their interests. So another thing that they will choose is they look for the government policies. Sometimes government policies are very strict. For example, government will say the minimum labor charge is this much. We cannot reduce labor charge this much. So then these companies will not be happy because they have to obey that government rule. So they will try to look for where the government rules are not so strict. Or some places government rule is there that every factory should have safety methods, that there should not be any accidents. In any accidents take place, the workers should be taken care, all that. So they have to spend a lot of money in order to make arrange the safety for the workers. So they don't want to spend money on that. So they try to look for where all these government rules are very loose, not so strict. Then you will read more about the policies later in this chapter. So towards the end of this chapter we will study which are the government rules. Government has set up rules for the companies. If they want to start their company in India, they have to follow certain rules. What are those rules? The government has already written down there. Then having assured themselves of these conditions, the MNCs set up factories and offices for production. So when they find a place which is suitable according to all their conveniences and their situations, then they will choose that place to set up a company and will start production there. The money that is spent to buy assets such as land, building, machines and other equipment is called investment. So just like any other industry we start, we need a lot of capital. We learned in the previous lessons. So we need money, land, building, machines, all this. We need a lot of money, that is called working capital. So we need working capital in order to buy this fixed capital, like building is fixed capital, land is fixed capital, machines are fixed capital. So to buy all these things, when they start the beginning, they need to buy a lot of things and they need a lot of money to do all these things. So they make a lot of investment in the beginning. The beginning they may not get much profit because they have to spend a lot of money. But after once they start production, then slowly they get the profit. Year by year they will be getting back more than what they spent, more than what they invested. Then investment made by MNC is called foreign investment. So if a MNC, that is multinational corporation, is coming to our country India and make this investment, they are going to start a factory here, they are going to buy land, they are going to buy machines, they are going to make buildings, all that. So a lot of money they will be investing, and that is called foreign investment. You can underline. So what is called foreign investment? Investment by a foreign company or multinational corporation is called foreign investment. Then any investment is made with the hope that these assets will earn profit. So why do they invest money, or why do they spend money? Because they know the future will get back all this. More than what? If I spend 1 lakh rupees to make buildings and other machines, everything, I know this year I may not get profit, but after 2 years or 3 years I will be getting back all that money that I have spent. Then coming years the profit will be increasing, becoming more and more. Then at times MNCs set up production jointly with some of the local companies of these countries. So sometimes MNC will tie up, will make agreements with a local company of that country. So you'll have some adjustment. And the benefits to the local company of such joint production is twofold. First, MNCs can provide money for additional investments like buying new machines for faster production. Second, MNCs might bring with them the latest technology for production and so on. So when a multinational corporation is making a tie-up with or agreement with a local company, then they are very happy to accept that. What is the reason? So the local company don't have to, it will be a help for the local company because they can get help from money. A lot of money will be coming from this foreign company, and this local company may not have much modern technology, modern engines or machines and so on. All that will be provided by this multinational corporation, and therefore they can suddenly increase their production, they can increase the quality of their production, and they will be able to get more advertisements for that, because the local company is very poor, they don't invest much, they don't spend much, but the foreign company means they have a lot of money and they have a lot of technology, and they are ready to spend a lot of money in order to get the benefits. You can see a picture here, a multinational corporation manager. What is he saying? We will ship this factory to another country. It has become expensive here. So here you can see there is a factory is here, and the workers are sitting there and doing strike. They are saying, give us better wages, higher wages. So their wages are very low and they are demanding we need higher wages. Then what is the man says? This factory will close down here and we will start in another country, because here it has become very expensive. So they will start a company in another country only if it is very cheap. The labor should be cheap, the material should be cheap, the government rules should be very favorable and convenient, and so otherwise they will not start a new factory in a country where the situation is not good. So we shall stop for today and we will continue tomorrow on the same topic, how this interlinking is going on or possible in another country. So for today let us stop. So thank you for listening. Have a nice day.